Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into Chamomilla.
That's the term from our main source, right? Kent's Materia Medica.
Exactly. James Tyler Kent's lectures on Homeopathic Materia Medica. And, most people probably think of chamomile tea, something soothing.
Oh, yeah, very calm image.
But our mission today, looking at Kent's work, is to uncover a much more intense side. A whole state of being, really.
It's fascinating because these excerpts paint chamomilla as a significant constitutional state. It's about an underlying pattern.
A pattern.
Yeah, of susceptibility, of response. And it's centered on this incredible, almost unbelievable level of sensitivity, way beyond just calm tea.
So not just the plant itself, but it represents a profound human experience.
Yeah.
Hypersensitivity.
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's see just how reactive a patient described this way can be. The deep dive. Unpacking chamomilla's profound sensitivity. So Kent cuts right to it, doesn't he? The core, extreme sensitiveness.
Absolutely. It's the first thing. Sensitive to, everything. Impressions, surroundings. People, yes. And above all, pain.
And it's not just like, ouch, that hurts a bit.
No, not at all. The sources stress this deep constitutional irritability. It's so immense that even a little bit of pain
Feels huge.
Exactly. It triggers a response as if the suffering were unbearable. It's this extreme reactivity that, runs through the whole chamomilla state.
And what really struck me is how tied together the physical and mental are. You can't separate them.
That's a crucial point. The physical sensitivity and the mental state are described as, inseparable.
The mind itself is just as sensitive and irritable.
Exquisitely so, according to Kent. Easily affected by things like mortification, chagrin, emotional upsets.
And these emotional shocks can directly cause physical problems, like pain.
Oh, yes. Pains, convulsions, colic, headaches. The sources link them directly back to these emotional triggers.
So what does that actually look like? How does this sensitivity manifest in a person?
Well, the sources give some vivid examples. Think of maybe a highly nervous child who goes into convulsions after being punished. Or an oversensitive woman who suffers intensely from some chagrin.
And what happens?
She might experience jerking, twitching of muscles just from the excitement, the emotional upset.
Wow.
And Kent even draws these parallels, doesn't he, to other remedies?
Right, like coffee, nux vomica.
And opium. He compares the chamomilla sensitivity to the severe distress you might see after someone takes crude opium. That really tells you something about the intensity.
It does. And then there's that warning about something seemingly harmless.
The chamomile tea for babies.
Yeah. The common practice for colic. Kent says it's actually been seen to cause convulsions sometimes.
Right. And the careful observer, the doctor who knows chamomilla, recognizes those specific convulsions as being due to the chamomile. Quite a strong statement.
He really is.
And digging a bit deeper into the mental side, Kent calls it the most important part of chamomilla.
More important than the physical symptoms.
He suggests it permeates the entire person. Says it has more mental symptoms than symptoms in any other part of the body.
And we're not just talking about someone being a bit cross or moody.
Oh, far from it. The descriptions are intense, piteous moaning, constant crying.
And that irritability again.
Profound irritability. So much so that pain drives the patient into an absolute frenzy.
A frenzy.
Yeah, they lose all sort of prudence and diplomacy. Forget considering others' feelings completely.
He gives that example, doesn't he? The woman in labor.
Yeah, yes, in agony, screaming at the doctor, "Get out! I don't want you!"
Someone who'd normally be polite, composed.
Exactly. But the sheer agony just overrides everything. It drives this completely uncharacteristic behavior, this uncontrolled temper.
You see something similar in children, that capriciousness.
Very much so. The child whines, cries, constantly demands something new.
Okay, classic kid behavior sometimes.
But then as soon as you give it to them, they refuse it, throw it away. Might even lash out, strike the nurse or parent for offering the very thing they just asked for. It's that level of contradictory irritability.
So with all this mental agitation, how does that affect managing their actual physical pain or discomfort? It sounds tricky.
It is, and there's a peculiar paradox described, especially with children.
Which is?
Their pains often get better with passive motion.
Passive motion, like being carried.
Exactly. The child constantly wants to be carried, and apparently this helps their colic, bowel issues, earaches, even fevers.
Huh. But that's not the case for adults.
Generally, no. For adults, the pains are described as so severe they cannot keep still. They're tossing and turning in bed.
Restless.
Extremely restless. Or they even get up and have to walk the floor. It's this restless torment.
And still with the irritability.
Oh, yes. The same intense irritability, anger, scolding, but directed at the pain itself. Like they're furious with the sensation.
That's quite a picture.
It is. And beyond that acute pain, there can also be these periods of melancholy, mental suffering.
But without a clear physical pain causing it.
Right, leading to introspection, sadness. They might become totally silent, impossible to get a word out of them.
And these states, like the physical symptoms, can be triggered.
Often, yes. The sources mention complaints arising from being contradicted or from anger. Even coughing fits or convulsions can be set off by anger.
So this intense sensitivity, it really does color everything. It shows up all over the body in unique ways.
Absolutely. It modifies every symptom.
Like the headaches you mentioned.
Yeah.
Common in sensitive women, maybe overstrained.
Yes, and they feel enormous, even if the pain itself isn't objectively that bad.
Throbbing, tearing.
Yeah.
Worse from thinking about it.
Exactly. And often worse in the evening, the sources specify around 9 p.m.
And that very specific facial symptom.
Ah, the one red-hot cheek while the other is pale.
Yes. That's so striking.
It is. And the ears, too. Incredibly sensitive, but specifically to air.
Even if the rest of the face isn't bothered by air.
Right, stitching pains in the ear. But interestingly, these are ameliorated by heat, made better by warmth.
Okay, so heat generally helps.
Yeah.
But isn't there a big exception?
Yes, absolutely crucial point. While many chamomilla pains get better with heat, the toothache is the opposite.
Right, the toothache is worse from heat.
Distinctly worse. Warm drinks, warm room, getting into a warm bed, all make it worse.
It gets better from cold.
Remarkably so. Like holding cold water in the mouth provides relief. This detail about the teeth is key for differentiation.
And it has a rhythm, too, this toothache.
Often, yes. Frequently absent during the day.
Then, bam, at night.
Especially when getting into that warm bed. The sources even describe, a chamomilla baby during teething.
What do?
Holding a glass of cold water against their sore, inflamed gums for relief.
Wow, that's specific. Okay, what about the digestive system?
Also very distinctive descriptions. The stool, for instance, often grass green.
Grass green.
Yes, or like chopped eggs that's described as yellow and white mixed with green mucus. And the smell.
Bad.
Very, like sulfurated hydrogen. Rotten eggs, basically.
Yikes. And the colic in babies.
Characterized by the child doubling up, screaming, kicking.
Wants to be carried.
Wants to be carried, exactly. And that classic trait, wants something, then refuses it.
That keeps coming up.
It does. And interestingly, 2 other points. Chamomilla is mentioned as an antidote to the hypersensitivity caused by drinking too much coffee.
Oh, okay.
And also, it can apparently stop the violent retching and vomiting that can follow taking crude morphine. Quite rapidly, the text suggests.
Fascinating range. Even coughs have this signature.
They do. A child might cough really hard while asleep but not even wake up.
Strange.
And coughing spells can be triggered directly by anger.
Anger again.
Yes. It's described as a dry, barking cough, often worse at night.
And the limbs. You mentioned pain there, too.
Stitching pains, cramping muscles, and there's often this feeling of numbness or deadness that comes with the pain.
Numbness, but still painful.
Exactly. Sometimes even called a paralyzing pain. Yet despite that sensation, the patient remains exquisitely sensitive to the pain itself. It's a strange combination.
And one very specific symptom related to the feet.
Ah, yes, the burning of the soles at night.
Leading them to.
Put their feet out from under the covers out of bed, seeking cool relief.
Okay, we absolutely have to talk about chamomilla in relation to women's health.
Yeah.
The sources emphasize this quite a bit.
Yes, it's presented as having a profound impact, especially during menstruation, pregnancy, and after childbirth.
So that oversensitive, snappish woman we talked about,
Yeah.
her symptoms get worse during her period.
Intensified, yes. The flow is described as often black, clotted, offensive smelling, and the pains, violent cramping pains in the uterus. But, importantly, these pains are ameliorated by heat.
Better with warmth, like many other chamomilla pains except the toothache.
Correct. And the sources specifically mention menstrual colic following anger. Again, that emotional trigger.
Anger causing uterine cramps. Wow.
It's also noted as something that can palliate or ease the really severe labor-like pains of what's called membranous dysmenorrhea.
That's when the uterine lining sheds in pieces. Painfully.
Exactly. Very painful condition. Chamomilla is mentioned for easing those pains.
And during pregnancy.
Well, chamomilla might be indicated for things like irregular cutting, tearing pains, false labor pains that are extremely painful.
Often felt in the back.
Yes, often in the back. And then during actual labor, you see that classic chamomilla temperament again.
The intense irritability.
Turned up to 11, scolding everyone, doctor, nurse, driving them out of the room.
Only to call them back again.
Moments later, yes. It's described as a chaotic, non-uniform pattern of contractions, very different from smooth, effective labor.
That really highlights the disruption.
It does, and it raises an interesting point. The sources touch on the idea of constitutional treatment during pregnancy.
How so?
Well, sometimes symptoms that were hidden or dormant can emerge during pregnancy. It presents a unique opportunity, perhaps, to address underlying imbalances.
To prepare for a smoother birth.
Potentially. The texts give a dramatic example, actually. A husband's snappish way infuriates his pregnant wife, leading to convulsions during confinement. The text suggests chamomilla could have perhaps prevented this and will often resolve it afterward.
Leaving her?
Surprisingly philosophical, it says. Able to sleep. Quite a transformation.
That is dramatic.
Yeah.
And after the birth. After confinement.
Chamomilla is noted for after pains, the uterine cramping after delivery.
But with a specific trigger.
Yes, pains that occur every single time the baby is put to the breast to feed.
That's very specific. And this is where Ken draws that contrast with another remedy, pulsatilla.
Exactly. He notes both are sensitive to pain, but chamomilla is much more sensitive.
And the temperament is the key differentiator.
Absolutely. Chamomilla is characterized by that snappish, uncivil, irritable temperament. Completely unlike pulsatilla, which is seen as generally mild, gentle, maybe a bit tearful or whimsical, but not typically irritable like chamomilla. So if we, try to tie all these threads together, what's the big picture?
It seems the main takeaway is that chamomilla isn't just about treating pain itself.
No, it's about the response to the pain. That irritable, oversensitive, almost frantic reaction.
Whether the trigger is physical discomfort or emotional upset.
Precisely. The mental state, that specific temperament, seems to be the absolute determining factor for identifying this whole picture.
And we have to remember that really interesting contrast regarding temperature.
The heat-cold thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Most chamomilla pains get better with heat.
But the toothache is the standout exception.
Gets worse from heat, better from cold. Such specific detail.
And the timing, too, things often worse from 9 p.m. until midnight.
Yes, and then often an absence of complaints from midnight until morning. That level of precise observation, it really makes you think about how deeply they were looking at the patterns of suffering.
It does. It really does. What stands out most to you after going through all this? For me, it's just that transformation from calming tea to this incredibly intense state.
I agree. It's seeing chamomilla not just as a plant, but as Kent describes it, a mirror to a very specific, very intense human experience of hypersensitivity and irritability.
Well, that was quite an illuminating deep dive, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It started with, just a simple tea bag image.
And ended up exploring this really profound picture of hypersensitivity, irritability.
And those intricate links between the mind and the body, all drawn from Kent's work.
It really underscores the level of detail, the nuanced observation that goes into this approach. Understanding how these remedies are thought to interact with the whole person.
Right, emphasizing treating the patient, the whole constitutional state, not just isolated symptoms or a named disease.
Exactly. It's about the individual's unique response pattern.
So maybe the next time any of us hear chamomile, we won't just think of calm.
Perhaps we'll think of this intense, fiery sensitivity too, a state that requires a very particular kind of understanding.
It's certainly been a journey of discovery today.